Today on the show, we'll get into the USAC sprint car drama at Macon Speedway, including one driver calling for others to be DQ'd over added bolt-on weights. Weights have actually been under scrutiny lately elsewhere in dirt racing, and I'll give you those details as well. Plus weekend winners, championship changes, and more. Let's go. It's Sunday, June 30th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is Dirt Tracker Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Apologies for the later upload today, but I've been spending the morning talking to a bunch of folks and gathering info for this first part of the show. And we'll start your Sunday off with that little bit of controversy from USAC over the weekend. The National Sprint Car Series was at Macon Speedway for 2 nights, Friday and Saturday. Mitchell Moles the winner on Friday after leading all 40 laps, and Logan Schuchart came out on top last night in a feature that saw 5 different drivers lead laps. Robert Ballou was on the podium last night, and he took the opportunity in his post-race interview to call out the situation from Friday night. Ballou said, quote, "We're just glad that the top 3 are legal. There's no weights bolted on the front of their cars past the front axle. Hopefully on Monday, the world does what is to be determined right, which is disqualify them for being illegal," unquote. So, as it's been communicated to me, here's what I know about what Ballou was referring to. Friday night at Macon, there were rumblings that 2 cars had added weights to the front of their chassis to help with setup because of the track conditions, and USAC officials were alerted to them. Nothing was supposedly done through the course of the program, but afterwards, the race results were questioned. You can actually see on the Flow Racing broadcasts during Victory Lane celebrations that USAC officials are looking underneath the 19AZ of winner Mitchell Moles with flashlights. The USAC rulebook does say that any additional bolted-on weight must be between the frame rails and between the front and rear axles, and word is that those weights in question were outside of that specified area. And the 2 cars mentioned as having those added bolt-on weights were the 19AZ and the 69. I've been told this was a topic of conversation during the drivers' meeting before yesterday's race, and that there could be some sort of resolution on Monday, which was what Ballou was referring to. And I did find this photo from Friday, and the area in question, I believe, is right here where I have the arrows pointing. Kind of right there towards the front of the chassis, right there where the kind of torsion tube is, torsion bar would go through. You can see there's definitely something in the frame there, and I believe that's what the bolted-on weight is. But here's where this gets a little weird. As I understand it, some sprint car builders actually put tabs in this location for those bolt-on weights. And they do that because it's not technically illegal everywhere. For example, the World of Outlaws rulebook says that at the discretion of series officials, quote, additional bolt-on weight may be mounted and or fastened forward of the front axle, but not past the front torsion bar, unquote. Where this, where you can see this weight on the 19AZ, that's exactly where that is. And that wouldn't violate the World of Outlaws rule. And obviously the World of Outlaws isn't USAC, but this is a little bit of a gray area. And it appears as though this added weight is fastened securely there with those bolts through the tabs and not with hose clamps or some other makeshift situation that I've heard people have done in the past. How USAC will end up ruling here, I don't know, but I'm not sure this is necessarily as open and shut a case as some want it to be or hope it will be. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. And just to be transparent, I did shoot a text looking for comment from USAC about the situation, but have not heard back as I record this show. To take this conversation a bit further, though, bolt-on weight has been an area of focus for sprint car racing as a whole for the past few weeks, and that includes with wings on. It was brought up during the Knoxville weekly drivers meeting yesterday, which the Always Race Day guys reported, and supposedly World of Outlaws officials have been checking out some cars lately as well. I was told that a recent sprint car crash resulted in some added weight being thrown off of the car in the process, and that happening has caused series officials to make the rounds seeing who has weight added where and making sure things are legal and safe. And you can easily imagine why this would be an area of concern, as chunks of tungsten or lead being flung through the air in a crash is not great for keeping people safe at racetracks. Race cars going fast is very much about weight and where it is, so this can be a place to find lap time and potentially open up teams looking for gray areas of where to put it and how to put it on the car. The people I spoke to today said there are all sorts of, call it, creative ways to handle extra add-on weight, which shouldn't be surprising. Racers are always looking for advantages. Logan Schuchart continues to lead the USAC Sprint Car points. They're back later this week at Red Hill Raceway in Illinois. One other USAC note for you, Jake Swanson and the Scott Benic owned 2B team parted ways before the Macon races. Wesley Smith was in the 2B while Jake Swanson was in the 5T under the Daming Swanson banner. Swanson currently 10th in the USAC points. He's got 4 top 5s and 12 top 10s in 24 races this season. Around the country, the last couple of days, we had a lot of racing rained out that included with both World of Outlaws Series and High Limit. Tyler Courtney won the Friday night High Limit show at Lucas Oil Speedway. He topped Brad Sweet and James McFadden. Had tipped to Cy Lynch on leading some laps and picking up his first career High Limit top 5. The Saturday show was postponed with officials looking for a suitable makeup date. The Kubota High Limit Sprint Cars are back July 13th at Portsmouth. And the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars had their weekend kind of opposite of High Limit. Their Friday show was rained out at Cedar Lake, but racing did happen yesterday. Logan Schuchart finally broke through for his first win of 2024. He led all 30 laps for his first victory since Grays Harbor last September. It was also his first podium finish since World Finals. Sheldon Hodenshield, David Gravel, the rest of the night's podium. Not much change in the standings. Gravel's still out front. Donnie Schott second. He's 58 back. Then Carson Macedo, Gio Selzy. The Outlaws are off this coming weekend as well, with Beaver Dam and Wilmot coming up after that. Nick Hoffman won again with the World of Outlaws late models in a wild one at Norman County. Races at River Cities and I-94 were rained out. The 3 leaders up to about halfway all ended up having problems. Kyle Bronson suffered a flat right rear after leading 23 circuits. He did end up finishing 8th. Bobby Pierce blew an engine after 3 laps out front, and then Ryan Gustin DNF'd as well after leading. Devin Moran led 14 laps. He settled for 2nd behind Hoffman with Brandon Shepard 3rd. The DNF for Pierce puts him back behind Kay Dillard, back down to 4th in the standings. He's 152 points back now of Bishop. Hoffman still only 14 behind, though. The late models are racing today at River Cities to kind of make up for that rain out, and then they've got Deer Creek up next after that. In Tennessee at Volunteer Speedway, it was all Dale McDowell for the $50,000 win during their 50th anniversary celebration. Mike Marler, Brandon Overton joined him on the podium. 42 cars there, with things a bit scattered in late model racing this past weekend. A solid 6th for Chris Madden in his return to the seat. Ricky Thornton Jr. finished 7th. Scott Bloomquist did race. He ended up 21st. Other weekend late model winners included Garrett Alberson, who actually won twice. He bagged the Summer Nationals win Friday at Farmer City, then went to Florence on Saturday and won James Essex's Northern All-Stars race. The other weekend Summer Nationals wins went to Jason Fager. He took the Herald and Review 100 at Macon and then won Saturday at Highland. Summer Nationals are at Red Hill today if you want to check that one out. Greg Satterley was an $8,000 winner at Thunder Mountain, and Hudson O'Neill bagged $6,600 at Thunderbird. In weekend sprint car action, Danny Dietrich won the PA Speedweek opener on Friday at Williams Grove. The Saturday race at Lincoln was rained out. They are looking for a reschedule for that one as well. PA Speedweek is at Baps Motor Speedway today. Brian Brown won at Knoxville. Justin Sanders was a NARC winner at Chico. I have not seen updated NARC standings today, but I would assume that Sanders took the championship lead from Cole Macedo with that win. Sam Haverteep was an ASCS winner. Dale Blaney won at Lernerville, and Max Guilford was an IRA winner at Beaver Dam. Finally today, we had tragedy at Jacksonville Speedway in Illinois on Friday night. During action for the MOA 410 series, a sprint car lost control and ended up striking people in the track's infield. One was injured, but 65-year-old Ralph Wilhite was killed in the incident. We're certainly thinking about all of those affected by that tragedy today. That's it for the Daily Show today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.